Jeff, there's been some sleeper stuff announced. I can't believe this is real, but we got Sting and Darby Allin on the card. We got Jeff Hardy one-on-one with Swerve Strickland. We got Penta taking on Adam Page. And I can't believe this is a real match. Minoru Suzuki and the former Edge, Adam Copeland, is wrestling Minoru Suzuki this week. AEW has they're bringing the noise with some dream matchups right now. Some of that stuff I didn't have, as a possibility. Suzuki and Edge. I want to give you some credit too, because last week here on the program, we're talking about old school TNA. The subject of Samoa Joe came up, and you made it very clear that you felt like Samoa Joe had a special quality that you had seen before in Jerry Lawler, where he could actually go over, but also help his opponent get over. And that's a pretty cliched thing that a lot of wrestling fans have heard. It doesn't matter who goes over, but who gets over. But I think we saw a great example of that after folks heard that on a Tuesday. The very next day, because Samoa Joe and Hook, man, had a lot of people talking, almost unanimous praise I saw. What'd you think of the job that Samoa Joe did with a very young Hook?
God, this sounds so pompous, but it's like it didn't surprise me at all.
Right.
It just didn't. I mean, I am a firm believer in Joseph. No, Samoa Joe, he is a born entertainer. He has a look. He's developed a cadence, if you will, to his style. The walk away, the kind of I'll call it the Joe strut around the ring, the little nuances. I'm just saying that these are, I don't say they're new to folks, but these are kind of getting some of their recognition right now. But I saw that way back. It's the stuff that you do when the camera's on you and either your opponent's selling or whatever it is, but it's the little nuances that Joe, the art of it. I'll say that Joe is an artist, and that sounds so, oh man, that may not go over with some folks and rub people the wrong way, but Joe is an artist, and Joe has a style, and I keep using the word cadence, that to me, you can do so many different things and the camera can't read it all or can't stay focused. Joe, if you're sitting in the camera directing a Joe match, you don't have to overthink it. You know exactly how to go grab the emotion. And that's what it's about. When you have a talent like Joe, he helps. Not only does all of his work, he does his opponents. And man, this is so inside baseball, but he can do his opponent's work. He makes the referee better, but he also makes the cameraman and the producer and the director and all that, because he is truly kind of playing his own orchestra. And I think there is such an art that you just don't develop that. I don't care who you are. That you don't develop that overnight. That doesn't come in months. That comes in years. And it's one of those things that, Joe's he's easy in over 20 years, right? Yeah, I'm sure he started.
Yeah, he's over. Yeah.
He's well over 20 years. So the match, I was tickled to death. For Hook, it's the follow-up. It's all in the follow-up, because it goes without saying, as time will tell, you go, oh, Joe did that. And especially the sophisticated audience today, as the days and weeks roll by, I'm hoping like hell Hook has a strategy to follow up on it, because momentum is super, super hard, especially nowadays, to get. And once you get it, man, hammer down. But hats off to all involved. Fantastic. And it's one of those things that you cannot duplicate. Live TV on a Wednesday night, and the big fight feel and the build up to it. It was special. And we were sitting here talking about our guesses for the Rumble, or the excitement of, Hook kicking out on one, all those kind of things. It's why I'm a wrestling fan. I love the stuff.
And we love Samoa Joe. Glad to see him getting his flowers. It's a phrase that we probably haven't used about Joe in a while, but man, he's been so good for so long. I'm really glad that people are recognizing that and he's got this opportunity. And I'm thrilled for Taz. I mean, I can't imagine the sense of pride. I mean, I looked it up the other day because Eric wanted to talk about it on his podcast, 83 Weeks. I think Hook has only had 48 matches, according to Cage Match. So to be in a television main event with 48 matches under your belt, or 47 at the time, man, that's pretty wild. I mean, that's not something that happens in a lot of places where you have just a handful of matches and you've given that opportunity, but that stress as well, right?
See, that's where the business has changed. So total 47 matches.
Before that was his 48th match. Yeah. So before that, 47 matches.
So
I mean, that would have been back in the day for you, what, 6 weeks, 7 weeks in the business?
yes, that I was kind of doing that math right there.
He's been in the business now for over 2 years, but we're talking about you would have got that amount of matches under your belt in
2
weeks.
months. Yeah.
Yeah, not years.
Yeah. That's why the business, but to watch live wrestling back then, you had to go to your own show and watch. Now, YouTube, you can watch decades of not just one promotion, multiple promotions, and you can watch wrestling 24/7, 365, and still won't get enough of it. And all the shows out there. So the business and that's the thing that you got to. Well, Connie, we've talked about this. How bad do you want it? How bad do you really want it as a young talent? And so I hope it today, like right now, I hope Hook is trying to think about how am I going to get better. He's got charisma. You just don't go out and have that kind of reaction.
That's right. He's got charisma. He's got the presentation down. To your point, though, 48 matches. He's going to need some more reps, but he's so young. I mean, I think dude's like 24. Like,
if
imagine how good he's going to be in 10 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's exciting to think about. Let's talk about 20 years ago.
Oh, this is crazy, Connie.
Right?
20. It boggles my mind when have we really? I don't know. We hadn't talked about Dolph or Nick Nemeth. We hadn't talked.
He's an Impact now, or TNA rather.
That's what I'm saying. Just and look, I've probably I don't say a boatload, but I've gotten my fair share of direct messages, texts, a few. Look, I've always been a fan. I'll call him Dolph's work, but him appearing on that show, and I know he appeared a week or so before that in New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, but just kind of the timing and TNA's back, that's kind of the deal. I don't want to compare it to that, but when you have kind of a rebrand or a reboot, and you do have the 1-2 punch of a surprise talent that I don't think anybody was calling, I'm happy for those guys. I mean, it's kind of crazy, and somebody sent me the cold open or the show open. Are they going back to cross that line, or is that a one-time deal?
They are. Yeah.
I mean, I can remember the first time Dale Oliver and me, we were just all the formation and the creation, and they were going to shoot the video and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy that wasn't 20 years ago, but here we are today, Conrad. We're going to be talking about some crazy stuff that happened at TNA at the Asylum. 2004 were the last years in the Asylum. So, man, it's 20 years ago. I mean, hell, we're just talking about Hook. He's just a little older than 20,
That's the thing. Okay. Like, it's crazy to think how fast this time goes. And we're talking about performers who were in the main event. I mean, that dude, he ain't even in school yet.